Netanyahu reviews Gaza war strategy amid calls to end the conflict and free the detainees. The Israeli military orders mass evacuations in northern Gaza. Meanwhile, Iran urges the UN to name the US and Israel as aggressors. The UN also warns Iran could soon resume uranium enrichment. Join our special coverage on Q News, where we tackle the latest developments around the world. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is holding high-level talks with Defense Minister Israel Katz and Army Chief Eyal Zamir to assess the Gaza war strategy amid growing calls to end the conflict and secure the release of detainees held by Hamas. According to the Jerusalem Post, the Israeli occupation army may launch a broader offensive if negotiations fail to yield a breakthrough soon. A senior security official told Reuters that the military believes its objectives are nearly achieved, but warned that further escalation could jeopardize the safety of remaining detainees. Australian nurse Christy Black, volunteering in Gaza City, has said that babies are dying due to critical shortages of infant formula and maternal nutrition. Black described hospitals lacking every kind of medical supply, with malnutritioned mothers unable to lactate and no formula available to substitute. A few babies have died in recent days as the situation in Gaza becomes increasingly desperate. Black reported children have been seen scavenging through rubbish for food, and respiratory illnesses are rising due to relentless bombardment. Despite the crisis, local health workers continue to work tirelessly under extremely challenging conditions. The Israeli occupation military has issued mass displacement orders demanding that residents of large parts of Gaza City and northern Gaza immediately evacuate their homes and move south towards Al-Mawasi area. The evacuation orders covers the following neighborhoods: Al-Zaytun, the Old City, Al-Turkuman, Al-Jadida, Al-Tufah, Al-Daraj, Al-Sabra, Jabalia al-Balad, Jabalia al-Nazla, Jabalia Camp, Al-Rawda, Al-Nahda, Al-Zuhur, Al-Nur, Al-Shams, and Tal al-Zatar. The Israeli military classified these areas as active combat zones and warned civilians that returning could result in consequences. Meanwhile, at least 5 Palestinians were killed by Israeli occupation forces while waiting for aid in northern side of Palestinian Rafah. The incident is part of a growing pattern of violence near aid distribution centers in Gaza. Since the U.S. and Israel-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation took over aid operations in late May, over 580 Palestinians have reportedly been killed by Israeli fire near these sites. For further analysis, we're joined from Jericho by political science professor Dr. Abdel Nasser Makki. Welcome to Q News, Doctor. Now, is it possible to reach an agreement to end the war in Gaza soon?
Good evening. Yes, I think now the atmosphere is ready to reach to agreement. And as you know, the speech and what Trump said about that there will be after 1 week, maybe this is something like for propaganda. But I think after the end of the war between Israel and Iran, now the United States of America want also to prepare for that's a new regional even conference and place here for the in the Middle East. So what is remaining is the problem and the war in Gaza with Israel. And because of this, I think there are some statements from Trump to the Netanyahu and also to the, I think also to Hamas and to the others that they should end this war after maybe 1 week or maybe more than that. But according to what we see now on the ground and what is Trump is doing now I think he's sending the messages even to the Israeli, that's courts. They should make amnesty about Netanyahu. This is one signal that he is preparing for the ending of the war. And also the second thing is that now the Minister of Strategy in Israeli, Rod, will go to the United States of America to discuss this matter at the end of the war with the American, and also the Stephen Witkoff, which is representative from the United States of America, and he is the mediator between Israel and between also Hamas. He will come here and will meet with the mediator like Qatar and Egypt. So I think all these marks and signals is going to reach to agreement. Even today, the Israeli is rise and increasing escalation in the north of Gaza, and they bomb, that's many places in Gaza, and they want to people to remove and go from these places, as Jabalia and other places. But regardless of the and despite what is happening, I think we will go to the agreement. And also, there are some statements from the head of the Israeli army. They said that they fulfill their, that's implemented also their aims in Gaza. And also, about the family of the detainees. Now they return back to make demonstration after the ending of the war between Israel and Iran. And also what's happening, some accident now in Gaza and Khan Yunis after some of the push between by the Hamas resistance against the Israeli army, and the death of about 8 soldiers and injured about 17. So I think all these, that's things and marks is maybe giving something that the end of the war will be maybe soon.
So will the European Union recognize the state of Palestine in the near future? Do you expect such a move?
I think as you know, there is 3 countries that have recognized Palestine state: Spain, Ireland, and also Norway. And the other, and as you know, even we have about 144 countries they are admitted with Palestine, recognized Palestine in the United Nations. So we are talking about the European Union. Some of them, they say in the future they are thinking about this matter, but this is also precondition with that there will be peace in the Middle East and also the normalization with the Arab countries. As you know, France and Saudi Arabia before the war, they were preparing for the that meeting in New York for the 2 states that solution. But as you know, when the war started, so I think they have been postponed this. So I think yes, the European Union, some of them, even like France, Britain said that they will discuss this matter later. Germany said also it's depending on the dialogue. And I think it's depending on what will happen after the ending of the war, and also about the peace between the Arab countries and also between Israel, the normalization in the future. This will maybe give will be motivation for the European Union to recognize, that recognition with the Palestinian state in the future.
So, Professor Mekki, how do you view the Israeli attack on countries that have announced recognition of the state of Palestine? You just mentioned some of them.
Yes, I think because this is the government of Israel now is extreme, and they are not even admitted, or they are not even even they are not a recognition of the Palestinian that in the future the Palestinian should state in the future. And as you know, the government of Israel now started to in response to some of European countries. They said that some of them they recognition, and some of them they said that they will recognize in the future. The government of Israel, the extreme government, they announced that they will freeze the relation with some countries, will do like this, and they will also, in response to this, they will increase and acceleration, that the settlements in the West Bank, which is something is not good for the building a Palestinian state, because as you know, the Palestinian state should have some elements like the sovereignty and also the region and also the movement of the people between the cities. Mm-hmm. So I think this thing, sorry. So I think the Israeli will make some action against the countries that will make recognitions with Palestine. But at the end, if the United States of America will lead this matter, and if the United States of America will say that they will announce about the Palestinian state in the future, I think the Israeli government will not do anything. If they stay, because I doubt that they will stay maybe for the other year, the same government.
Mm-hmm. So what is your take on the Israeli decision to prevent aid from reaching the Gaza Strip?
I think this is war crimes. War crimes. This is war crimes. Starvation. You know, that's from the TV. When you show about the channel, all the, that's the social media. They are, that's broadcasting many of the shows and photos. Like today, someone, that's some of Gazian people that just he have carried, that's a ball of wheat and for his family. And there is, air strike from the Israeli, and they killed him. So I think this is war crimes, and this is Israeli is not implemented even and fulfilled for the, that's the international law or humanitarian law. And in the humanitarian law, even in the war, they are respected the people to get and to reach to the water and the food. But Israeli is not doing like this. The Israeli government, the army is killing the people, even what they did before maybe 1 or 2 months for the American centers for assistance. It was ambush for the people to come there, and they killing them about 500 people. They killed 500 people. These people is not armed. These people is just want to take some aid, some food to their family. So I think this is war crime, and in the future, Israeli should also be account for this, actions.
Mm-hmm. Could Hamas accept Trump's conditions in order to stop the war? Do you think that this is even a possibility now?
It's depending on the Trump preconditions, because as you know, there are some news say that, maybe the Sky News, they said that some of this, Hamas, put conditions that they should take care for their leaders outside, and also they should stay on the government. But this is not Hamas said. Hamas said what is they want, and the main aims for Hamas demand is to stop the war and withdraw the Israeli army from Gaza, and after that to enter all the assistance to Gaza. This is what Hamas said. There is nothing other. They are changing their demands from the beginning.
Professor Mekki, how can U.S. President Donald Trump pressure Israel to end the war in Gaza?
Yes, I said, as I told you now, what he did in Iran it was for the sake of Israel. What he did for sending to the court in Israeli, that's about prosecutions that they should have amnesty for the Netanyahu for his crimes, corruption crimes. There are some also he support Netanyahu in order that Netanyahu will accept and will accept the idea of Trump to end the war. And also he promised them to send to them units weapons. And also he said that he will attack Iran if it will start to rebuild their nuclear weapon in the future. So all these messages is what the pressures of President in order to solve the problem and ending the war in Gaza.
Well, that was Professor Abdel Nasser Mekki, Professor of Political Science. Thank you so much, Professor, for joining us here on Q News. Moving on, Israeli anti-government protesters have gathered in Tel Aviv demanding an end to the war in Gaza. Many waved flags and criticized Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for his handling of detainee situations and ceasefire negotiations. This comes as the ongoing war has resulted in significant casualties on both sides, with over 56,000 Palestinians reportedly killed. U.S. President Donald Trump has criticized Israeli prosecutors involved in Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's corruption trial. Trump claimed that it hindered his negotiations with Hamas and Iran. In a post on Truth Social, Trump implied that the U.S., having provided billions in military aid to Israel, would not tolerate such interference. Former Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett has publicly called for Benjamin Netanyahu to step down, saying that it is not healthy for one leader to remain in power for 2 decades. Bennett accused Netanyahu of bearing heavy responsibility for the divisions in Israeli society, referencing the growing internal rifts amid the ongoing war in Gaza. The remarks highlight intensifying domestic criticism of Netanyahu, whose handling of the Gaza war has sparked fierce political and public backlash, even as he maintains a loyal base of supporters.
We're trying to make a deal so that there's no destruction and death.
Iran has formally called on the United Nations to recognize the United States and Israel as the aggressors in the ongoing 12-day conflict that erupted on June 13. In a letter to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi demanded both countries be held accountable for launching attacks on Iranian nuclear and military facilities and for paying repatriations. The U.S. joined the hostilities on June 21st with strikes targeting 3 Iranian nuclear sites. The head of the UN nuclear watchdog, Rafael Grossi, has said that Iran could restart uranium enrichment for a potential nuclear weapon within months. Grossi confirmed the damage was serious but not total, disputing claims that Iran's nuclear program had been destroyed. He warned that Iran retains the industrial and technical capabilities to resume enrichment if it chooses. The attacks targeted Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan following claims that Iran was nearing bomb capability. Azerbaijan has denied allowing Israel or any other country to use its airspace to carry out strikes on Iran. In an official statement, the Azerbaijani Ministry of Foreign Affairs described Tehran's accusations as baseless claims. The denial comes amid the circulation of unofficial reports suggesting that neighboring countries may have been used as launch points in recent attacks targeting sensitive military and industrial facilities inside Iran. The Hebrew daily Ma'ariv reported that Israel's tax authority has received 43,000 compensation claims, 80% of which relate to damage sustained by homes during the war with Iran. According to the newspaper, Iranian missile strikes not only caused casualties, but also led to widespread destruction of buildings and streets, leaving tens of thousands of residents homeless. Israel's Ministry of Finance has rejected a military request to increase the defense budget by 60 billion shekels to fund the war with Iran and resume operations in Gaza. Security officials revealed that one of the main reasons behind the finance ministry's opposition is the alleged overspending on reserve forces, which reportedly costs 1.2 billion shekels per month due to extended service days. Iran's Attorney General Mohammad Mohibbi Azad has called on illegal foreigners to leave the country as soon as possible to avoid facing legal action. According to Iran's Tasnim news agency, Mohibbi stated that illegal foreigners, especially Afghans who have been hosted by Iran for years, must leave the country promptly and understand that the country will take action against violators. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has emphasized that the priority is to maintain national unity, urging the public to trust their government. He noted that the solidarity of the people over the past 12 days demonstrates their unwavering support for the nation. His statements came after the Iranian parliament accused external enemies of waging a psychological war to instigate fear and chaos, claiming that the U.S. is reigniting conflicts amid negotiations. Iran's top military commander, Major General Abdurrahim Musawi, has expressed strong skepticism over Israel's commitment to the current ceasefire, warning of a forceful response that should hostilities resume. During a phone call with Saudi Defense Minister Khalid bin Salman Al Saud, Musawi criticized Israel for what he described as a pattern of violating international norms and emphasized that Iran is ready to deliver a strong response if hostilities resume. His remarks underscore rising regional tensions and the fragile nature of the ceasefire in Gaza amid long-standing mistrust between Iran and Israel. The Iranian judiciary spokesperson has announced that the Israeli attack on the 23rd of Evin person in Tehran resulted in the deaths of 71 individuals. He added that the casualties included administrative staff, military personnel, detainees, and family members visiting inmates. He also noted that the attack marked a shift in Israel's targeting strategy, aiming at symbols of Iran's ruling system. He added that remaining detainees were transferred to other prisons in Tehran. And this brings us to the end of our special coverage for tonight. Don't forget to follow Q News on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok at QNewsEG to stay informed. I'm Helen Hamalawi. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more updates here on Q News.